We had a lot of new people introduced. New group, leader, bunch of others. Explanation about the workings of kind of how our group is kind of formed, the hierarchy for it and everything as well. So pretty cool stuff to set us up for more to come here. We met our goofy kind of leader, but probably has a serious side to him that it probably destroys absolutely everybody and everything in his path. It's like a similar situation because I made the comment last time about Gojo, and I was like, this guy just gives off the same energy as that. I mean, because also it's the same voice actor, you just hear it in him. So it's like, it almost feels like we're gonna get the same thing. He's gonna seem like this lovable dude, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, he's so nice and all of this, and then he's gonna be like the most horrifying person when you fight him, right? It's gonna be like something like that they're gonna go for, I'm assuming, which we love. I mean, that's a fun dynamic to have within a person. So very excited to see him a little bit more. How the rest of our group kind of acts as we end up meeting him a little bit, and I guess a little bit more development leading into our ultimate big altercation that's probably going to come with the other group that we introduced. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion, leave me comments. But this episode of our series, let's go on with Windbreaker episode 4. I just sensed it. It's going to be something about his plants, though. No, it's about his plants. Hate to see that. How caring. What a guy. I feel like most of you guys are never on the same page. Look at him with his big old droopy eyes, too. We had to report an issue. Cool, dude. I wouldn't go as far as saying that they're cute, but they are. They're all unique. I like how his eye still has the little effect like it got hit and everything, you know? It looked all squished. They all just look like grass. Yep. He's a good leader, though. He unites everybody. Right. I found the tunnel. Imagine that, just trying to help out and then causing a war, basically. That's so fucked up. So you did, yeah. Especially if you don't think you did anything wrong, you know? Thanks, brother. Yeah, maybe you should just kick him next time, you know? Go for it. Why are you trying to put it all on me? I have a feeling that. Because I have a feeling he sees it similar, though. Absolute losers. He closes the gap immediately, too, by using words like brother and stuff, too, you know? You're thrilled, bro. Yeah. That's what everybody else feels when they're around him. Right.
この町にいるやつはみんな家族だと思ってんだ、俺。
If you fight to protect the same things as him, you're on the same team. We're brothers, you know?
どうした？なんだ？どうした？
Shit's going down. Oh.
頼もう頼もう頼もう頼もう
He's in our territory. Well, I guess we kind of... It's war. We could...
富山ジョージ
You're the leader?
梅ちゃんいざ尋常に勝負勝負勝負
He reminds me of that guy from Blue Lock. Who am I thinking of? The one guy. I don't know. That doesn't help you guys. Bachira. That's who he reminds me of. I don't know why. I probably won't feel that way come, 5 more minutes from now, but that was just the first thing that came into my mind. I don't know.
戦争
I always love how the leaders are never that serious, though, you know?
とがめしろ。
ってことはあいつより強いってことか
Maybe he's not. I mean, it could always be a situation where they just follow him, you know? Ooh. And see how serious it gets. The atmosphere changes instantly. That was such a cool visual. Smiles on everyone's face as they run down. Ooh, it's getting fun.
待ってください
Let's go. Move out, boys.
お前らここにいろ。
ふざけんな喧嘩なら俺にやらせ
It's
ろ
not a fight. We're just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk.
ダメだ足が前に進まないさっきまでのあいつと本当に同じ人間かよーし梅ちゃん
Confident, I mean.
大満大満先にそっちがちょっかい出してきたんだもんねやる理由は
At least
十分だよ
reward
ね
me with this, yeah.
大満
Oh my god.
大満
What a goof.
お前だって十分暴れてくれた。気は済んだろ。
You know, we took out one dude, you know? Look at the pile you love.
早く帰った。
It's his eyes, too.
たく、相変わらずせっかちだな。なんでそんなに喧嘩がしたい？
え
He gets a thrill.
喧嘩したいっていうより梅ちゃんが欲しい
I just want to fight you two.
俺てっぺんになってから
It's nothing to work towards anymore.
同じてっぺんなのにいつも楽しそうでヘラヘラしてるそんなのずるいだから風鈴を梅ちゃんごと俺のものに
It's a little weird, bro. I don't know about all that.
そんなのめちゃくちゃだ
そうか。
Sorry, buddy. Not gonna happen.
富山、しんどかったな。
は
What are you talking about?
の来てんの
The squad.
大将が一人で勝ち込みって。
It's unfair to them.
いやー、オスロ君。さっきぶり。
よ、もじゃもじゃ。
Nice.
向こうにいろって。
He called him out. You have to walk forward, you know?
囲むのは
Right.
気に食わねえんだよもう今から怠慢するんだから
Get the fuck back. This is between me and him.
差しでやんのは難しそうだよ。
What if we all get in a line and you each pick somebody to fight? Nobody interferes. Yeah, to be fair, you also pulled up on them at their territory. Like, one-on-one was never going to be a thing.
お前の怠慢受けてやる。
Oh, not what I was
後ろの奴らを
expecting.
下がらせろ。
わかった俺は梅ちゃんとできればいいから
てるだけ
お
か。
い、
潰すぞ
図星つか
I like how we're all picking fights with somebody else.
ねえねえあの子さっきいた子じゃないほらやっぱりあいつら地味なのに分かっちゃう僕ってすごくないいかつい顔面してる割に僕っ子なんだかわいいね
They're all picking their own. This is great. It's so goofy.
にしても日は改めた方がいいよ。
で
だってもうすぐ暗くなるよ。
Don't you want to enjoy it in the
何
light?
かやったってボコボコにした顔がちゃんと見えないじゃないか。ね、オセロ君。
I love how he calls
自
him
分の
that.
顔どうやって見るんだ？
So dumb.
それぞれが対マンでやるってことね。お
Right.
祭りみたいで楽しそうじゃない？
Winning team takes all. Yeah. This is awesome.
いいね。
でしょ
I love it. Are you going to be able to keep everyone in line to follow the rules, though? That's the biggest problem.
最後まで
Oh,
聞いて。
who is this?
じゃあ選手は長司と梅宮、俺と
Your boy. Yep. We all set up little fights.
俺とあの挑発
を
やらせろ。
Perfect.
じゃあ僕はこっちの眼帯と可愛い子に指名されちゃった
おい、怠慢なら俺たちだけで十分だろ。
みんなでやった方が
Right. This is a team activity. Come on.
そっちの方が嬉しいね。
Yeah, they get to
だって
participate.
よ
さあ、今年の一年は。
俺もいいですか柊さんと
Hmm.
サコ、お前。
Sako.
俺もやるわ。
Wise. You're telling me there's like 50 people. You tell me they all don't just want somebody, though? I know they don't have like an individual, but they'll take anyone, right?
それぞれのチームをかけて
The matchups are decided. Let's fucking
目いっ
go.
ぱい楽しんで喧嘩しよ
Oh, that's so fun. I'm excited. And now we prep for it, right? It doesn't happen today. All
う
right.
いていいんでしょうか
Yeah, you're part of our team, though.
騒いでも仕方ないでしょうニル。ちょっとはお腹に入れな。落ち着くから。
梅宮さんがあの富山長司に負けるなんてことになれば暴風林はシシュトーレンに乗っ取られちゃうんすよ
Why would you? Don't even think like that. Have faith in your boys.
騒いでなんとかなるもんでもないでしょ。
Come on, dude.
大丈夫よ。あいつらそんなにヤバじゃないってあんたも知ってるでしょ。
You did the same thing when you met Sakura and you underestimated him, and then look what happened. Get your head in the game, kid. Come on.
待ってろっつった割に全然来ねえし。
そりゃあれだけ殺気だった人たちに説明するのも
Hmm. Tell them that they're not participating.
喧嘩の前はここに集まるらしいよ何よりこと今日の髪型も可愛い
Absolutely. Bro, he's actually just me. Hold up. He's just me.
のないなこんなに大きくなったんだ夏にはここにも届けるからな
楽しみにしてるわ。
なんだありゃ。
見ての通り梅宮さんのお気に入りなんだよなんだ彼女かよああそっちか
No.
ちげえから。もうバカ言わないでよ。
そうだ、バカ言うな。彼女なんてチャラついたもんか。
俺の妹だぞ
Oh.
俺もちげえから
Well, I'm
どういう
confused.
ことだ。
同じ施設で育ったのよ。
Hmm.
それで梅が勝手に言ってるだけ。
なんだ。そんなことか。
Yeah, that's not as fun as I thought it was gonna be.
あ、いやちょっと待て。妹？姉じゃなくて。
そうよ。
お前いくつだ？
16。
What？
あんたのためよ。
嘘つけ。16にしちゃ老けすぎだろ。どう見ても。
That's what I was thinking. What the hell?
ダブネーだ。急に何しやがる。琴葉は大人っぽいんだよ。もう。
Yeah, don't go
だ
near
か
her.
ら急に物投げたらダメだぞ。
I can't believe you just picked up a stool and threw it.
溺愛していて
Hmm. Yeah, she's kind of out of reach here. Don't go near her. Yeah. And that's why you're so mad about it. Got it.
まい琴葉のオムライス日本一
黙って食え。
I can see why she gets mad. I'd get annoyed with him too, but
シシュトーレンはただ純粋に喧嘩の強さを求めるチームだった。
hmm.
壮絶な乱闘だったが、妙に気持ちのいい喧嘩だったのを覚え
Right,
て
the
る。
big brawl of '84, right?
だが、 富山が頭取になってから悪い噂が目立ち始めた。誰よりもチームを思う力の絶対進行の象徴のような奴らだったのに、なんでこんなことになったんだか。詳しいことはわからん。明日話せばわかるさ。話せばって明日は喧嘩しに行くんだぞ。いやいや、喧嘩は対話よ、さくらくん。拳は
We use their fists as
言葉よ
words.
り相手を
Yeah.
知る言語になる。まあ、俺たちにしか通じない言葉だがな。グッドハー、また来るからな。
Please do not.
皆さん、ちゃんとお礼を言えてなかったので助けてくれてありがとうございました。明日はどうかよろしくお願いします。
おう、心配すんな。
Sure,
大
bro.
丈夫だ。
頑張るよ。別にお前のために喧嘩するんじゃ。
バカね。そこは任せとけでいいのよ。
任せとけ。
よし。
さくらさん、顔真っ赤っすね。うっせえ。喧嘩は対話、拳は言語。考えたこともなかった。
But don't take it so badly that that's your only form of communication ever. You know what I mean? Be a bit more careful with it.
行きますか。
Into their territory.
自分のため以外の喧嘩なんて初めてだ。でもなんでかわかんねえけど、
Feels kinda good, doesn't it?
いつも以上に負ける気がしね
You got others relying on you now, you know? Doing it for the sake of others.
え。ようこそいらっしゃい。
おう、邪魔するぜ。
Fun. This show is just fun. Like it's very fun. And I can easily see it as something that a lot of people, the style of it might not mesh with a lot of people. Or they might think a lot of the characters are kind of generic in a way. And I say that because they're not types of characters, especially for a delinquent type show that's like the most unique thing, at least from surface level of what's been presented. I'll state that as well, because they definitely have backstories and things about them that it might be a little bit more, you know, detailed and different, but we don't know any of that for now. But like I said, I can easily understand that being something that a lot of people aren't drawn to, and they're not very interested in it. And am I sitting here acting like this is the greatest told story through at least the first 4 episodes only? I mean, it could easily get significantly more interesting, of course. This is all basically build up and set up still, so it easily can get significantly stronger on that front. But it's just fun. Like it is. They do everything. They nail everything in a order that just feels right, if that makes sense, right? Like, let's do a one-on-one, and then it's like, well, that doesn't make much sense because you're gonna have all these other people who want to fight. So it's like, let's just make it more fun. Let's let everybody choose somebody. They all seem to have an issue with somebody, so let's fight. And then it's like, oh, what do? We do exactly that, right? Like, there's so much that works. A lot of the characters have really good dynamics together that make them really fun. Some of the comedy and things, I've talked about it at length in the other episodes. It's hit or miss at times for me, and once again, that's a thing that it's going to vary entirely from everybody. There's plenty of shows, plenty of things I've even watched on this channel where either I've dropped it, or I mean, we've even continued, where a lot of the comedy just does not work for me. Sometimes I've started shows on here, it just doesn't work. Some things, like I said on here, don't work for me, but some of it I find to be pretty funny, enjoyable. Except when Neri's on the screen, I do not like him at all. I didn't like him from the first time he was introduced, and even now I think he ruins like 90% of the scenes that we've had him, and I'm not enjoying him at all, and I kind of just don't want him involved. But we'll see how he gets developed. But I gotta be honest there. Every time he's complaining about something, I'm like, dude, just shut up and let the others do these things. You're not adding anything to this moment. But all the other characters are fun. They all have reasons. They all have solid things that make plenty of sense to me and track perfectly with what like actual people would think and feel in a lot of the moments. A lot of them are staying consistent for what they've kind of been introduced to so far. It's really fun when you just have a bunch of really strong members that don't ever take things too serious, or don't seem like that they take things too serious, and they just kind of mess around, and you're like, who is this idiot? But when in reality they're like extremely strong and they're great at uniting people and bringing everyone together, it's just like that's fun ways to make characters kind of work, right? It works. On top of the show's very pretty, right? The animation is, well, we haven't gotten a lot over the past like 2 episodes, because we've been kind of building towards what's to come, probably next episode, if we ultimately do actually start throwing down as opposed to just talking things out. I mean, I know they said talking with their fist and everything, but I have this weird feeling in me that we're not actually going to get what we've built up to, and they're going to kind of cut it short and they're going to do something else. But if they actually give it to us, I'm sure it'll look visually great, right? So there's definitely tons to work with and tons that I'm really enjoying about this. And it just continues each episode, I think, just to keep adding on to that. And I warm up more and more with the characters. I think when they poke fun at each other and they make, you know, they're calling each other names, even on the two groups, and they were attacking each other, it showed a little bit of the personality when they keep kind of like acting like something, just having a nickname for the other. Soyu in his situation when he like called the guy like the little cutie and everything, it's just like little personality things about them that kind of come out, and it just knows that you're going to get the reaction out of the other person when you say it, and it makes everything extremely fun. The little moment we get of everybody kind of group meeting almost before we go to do this fight the next day, and we're all just talking, and then Kotaha has a little bit of a moment together, and we get to learn a little bit about her and a little bit about Hajime and their whole situation, right? We don't go too in detail with it, but we showcase a little bit of it. All that's very vibrant. It's very fun. Good dynamics between the characters. You get to see somebody who's been kind of calm and collected like her and likes to tease others and do a bunch of those things get really annoyed when somebody else comes involved because they up her on like a complete different level, right? It's like very fun things, and I'm enjoying it. The intro here basically just sets up that the other characters were not aware of the type of person that we're going to end up getting here with our leader, right? And that makes sense. Like, I completely understand that. He's not the typical person that you'd expect for the leader, right? He takes pride in doing a whole bunch of these little other things that he's doing, talking about how cute the plants are, you know, he's actually like growing these things and he enjoys it so much more. Like, he has these little hobbies and things that he likes, right? It's great. And then at the same exact time, it allows for our main character in Sakura here to question, like, what is it about this person that brings everyone together? Why were they acting the way that they were when they were talking to him? Which he immediately gets to see later. He's like, I can kind of understand. He's like, I feel something, but I'm still not really getting it, until we get to that moment later where they get the really cool thing of you hear the call out from the other group, and immediately you see this like crazy figure kind of come on screen, and it like shifts instantly. He's like, what the fuck? And then we get another moment later where he can't move and he's kind of stuck in his tracks, and he's like, I want to obey him almost. It's like some presence, some aura that he's giving off that makes me trust in this person and want to do the things that he says and believe in everything that he kind of says, and it's really cool. It's a good display of doing that. You have plenty of people like that, and sometimes you just can't describe it, but something about them, something the way that they make every person feel, the way that they make them feel included, the way that they don't take everything way too serious, the way that they're not too nice or too mean at certain moments. Like they just have such good balances with things that allow so many people to come together and understand and fall in line kind of behind them, even if they intentionally or don't mean that. And it works out pretty well. I love him just calling them brothers in this moment, or calling him and the others in the group like the big brothers and everything, and it's something that we bring back later, but it's a nice job at kind of closing the gap between the people that are involved. It's a nice job at getting the first years here who are witnessing all of this kind of to see, okay, where he thinks of us, like, because we all fall in line under the same group, because we all almost have the same goals, or you'd assume because we're a part of this group we have the same intentions and goals of what we're trying to do here, that we are a family at the end of the day, and that's how we kind of have to look at it. And it makes sense too when you look into talking about them being a part of like a group home and a bunch of other things. His distance that he almost has probably from actual family and things forces him to grow some sort of fondness of wanting that in his life, and because that's what makes him so over attached to somebody like Kotaha when we see her later and wanting to protect her and do all those things. And that's what probably propelled him to the point that he's at right now of wanting to look after and do these things and protect so many of these other people, give back to others who have helped him along the way, but now protect all these other ones who are younger and under him as well. And that's why he views a bunch of these people and he changed things so much, the culture that they have around this, which I think is great. Him kind of reaffirming the idea that it was okay to attack in this moment, that they've kind of gotten lame with all the things that they've done, not being that group of the past who would do, you know, just attack them at will, pick on the weak. They would actually like have and stand for things, but they've gotten pretty lame with the way that they've kind of acted over time now, which we expand upon a little bit more later, especially with the new people coming involved in the way that the group has kind of changed over time. But it allows him to understand, like, all right, this guy gets it. Like, he's not gonna just get mad about random things because we're forming this fight and because of all this. There's a reason that everybody's drawn to him. It's the way that he's almost so accepting and understanding of these things and the way that his viewpoint on a lot of this. I mean, even talking about I view this town as a family, of course. The dead eyes here. I mean, it's like it makes sense. You always got to have that short guy who has like the dead eyes about him, or just like either something with him where he's going to go out of his way and be like the most psychotic and insane person that you're going to come to meet. This figure, when he's immediately called out and walking forward, and that aura that you almost feel after him, is so cool. It's such a cool visualization of it. The moment he's running and putting his jacket on, something similar we see with everybody throwing theirs on in the OP, I think is awesome. Telling them all to stand behind them and immediately wanting to obey orders and being like, fuck, this is serious. I got to listen to him. And I do believe in him in this moment. We have our conversation, just dancing around and wanted to fight, wanted to have this one-on-one, been chasing after this for a long period of time. But finally having this opportunity because of the move that somebody else has made, this can happen. I mean, you knocked out fucking everybody on your way up here. I don't know about all that, buddy, but it's what it is. His whole group basically shows up here, and then our whole group kind of comes from the backgrounds, and it's everybody, and they're like, all right, we all want to fight, start poking fun at who the other person is and targeting somebody, almost perfectly setting it up that they're all going to end up having a fight at some point. None of them really having history, except I'm assuming this dynamic. Which one is it? This one here with these two. I'm assuming they have something. I mean, he immediately knew exactly who he was, of course, and he had like this weird reaction of like me, like, or oh shit, it's you or something. Like, I'm assuming we're gonna have a little bit of history and things behind them that we're gonna have to get into. A fun visualization of the two facing off like this, and we basically reach an agreement. It's time to fight. We're going to do this tomorrow, one-on-one between everybody, or between our selected group, which I think is fun. Kotoha telling us to like shut the fuck up and just, it's gonna be fine, we're good. You gotta trust the people that you're here with. I mean, Neri already complained so much about when he met Sakura for the first time, but look what he was able to do, talking about, you know, not being like that strong, or him being like too overconfident and all of this. And it's like, dude, you just gotta trust these guys. They're your family at the end of the day. You're gonna be with them for nonstop for another 3 years, right? Like, you gotta learn to start trusting these people. And her just immediately trying to shut him down, I think is great. Hajime shows up, immediately has a really good interest in Kotoha, so he's just like me. And then we learn a little bit about them and their dynamic here. They're basically siblings, but not at the same time. He views her as a little sister, but not actually related in any sort of way. Just kind of grew up with each other at that point. And her being a little bit annoyed by this, and I don't know, you guys can explain it, I guess, unless it's something that'll be expanded on more at some other point. But she literally she has a weird reaction when everybody kind of just, or Sakura kind of brushes it off, and he's like, oh, that's what it is. Like, he's not like bothered by it or anything. Almost like she thought that she was going to get judged, or like there was going to be some sort of weird reaction, or she was going to be kind of treated different as a result of who exactly like she's in relation is to Hajime and stuff, and maybe all that stuff makes her feel weird. So she was a little bit relieved to see that he didn't like really care, and he just kind of brushed past it. Or it is that he just brushed past it and didn't really like pry too much or care too much, and there are things that she doesn't want to open up about. But she seemed pretty happy about that. Maybe none of that's the case, I don't know. But pretty cool. We find out she looks way younger than, or she's way younger than she actually looks. Like, she definitely gives off that more mature feeling to her. Like, she's definitely older, which all the characters do point out, which I think is at least nice, you know, as opposed to all these people not looking or feeling their age, and then us just being like, yeah, that makes sense, I get that. It's like, no, we'll actually call you out on your shit when it's something like that. Like, she definitely seems different entirely. I mean, she's working here all by herself. We haven't seen anybody else with her, so to be 16 and doing all this is kind of crazy. We see a little bit of these two kind of fighting, it looks like, when they were younger, so there definitely is a lot more that we'll expand on in their relationship going forward, assuming at this fight that we actually have. We learn a bit about the group, the way that things have kind of evolved and changed over time with the people who've kind of come involved and taken over here, and things aren't really too great. And that's unfortunately why things have ended up the way that they are. But at the same time, why have they ended up that way? It makes sense from the outside of like, certain people come in and they change over time and they view things differently, but it's like, why? Like, what exactly happened that caused all this change to occur? And those are things that we don't know, but maybe we'll be able to understand a little bit more through the actual feeling of us kind of fighting. That's the language that we talk, and I like the way that they explain that. I mean, that's exactly what happens. That's what a lot of like professional fighting and thing kind of comes to as well, but that's what a lot of like, when you're younger especially, and you end up getting into a altercation with somebody and you start fighting, a lot of times you can't properly express the way that you're feeling to somebody, because especially you're so young and not matured enough to the point that you can put all that stuff into words. So actually using your actions is the only way that you can really express that. And we really get to see that come to life, right? A lot of people will fight, and then all of their frustrations and things and issues with the person are kind of gone at the end of the day afterwards. They're able to vent out everything that they need to within that moment, and then either you go your separate ways and never speak again, or sometimes those people come really close to each other and end up growing really close as a result of that, because they can understand each other on a little bit different of a level. I love all the moments or all this where everybody is kind of just like, no problem, we got you, don't worry about it, I got you, it's tomorrow, and Sakura kind of being his normal self like this, and not acting like he's doing it for somebody else, but Kotoha kind of just like calling him out and being like, dude, just say, leave it to me, you're doing it for somebody else, stop acting like everything has to be just for your own purpose of why you're actually doing it, just go with the flow sometimes too, and he actually does at this moment, and it makes him reflect as they walk in to go and fight, the confidence that he almost has and the trust that he almost has in himself to do this, because he has other people kind of relying on him, and it's not a reliance that's weighing on him like a negative, because sometimes that can happen and it all gets in your own head, but it's like a breath of fresh air where like, I'm going into fighting for the first time, and I'm not doing it for the purpose of what I always do it for. I'm doing it with people supporting me, people behind me in my corner, and it's a way different and way better feeling to actually have. Fun episode. As always, excited to get into more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked it all, hit like and subscribe. Do me not to me. Feel free to check out the videos and check out the comments of this series. Back for episode 5 next week. I hope this is a great one. Peace.